Oh, hi, Mama. Welcome to the Manifesting Motherhood podcast. My name is Jessie LeVay-Count, and I'm a certified life and fertility coach who specializes in the art of using manifestation to call your babies home. I'm obsessed with helping you fall back in love with yourself, step into your power, say yes to your best life, and manifest the family of your dreams. If you're trying to conceive, and you want to learn how to manifest not only your pregnancy, but a life full of laughter and adventure and beautiful memories with your babies, then you have come to the right place. My goal on this podcast is to help you see that you are meant for motherhood and provide you with the tools, strategies, resources, and support you need to step into your mama energy and bring your baby home. This podcast will serve as your weekly dose of fertile girl energy and the mindset work you need to quantum jump into your mama timeline. We're going to have an absolute blast, and thank you so much for hitting that play button today. Let's make some magic and make some babies. Welcome on back for the Manifesting Motherhood podcast. I'm so excited to dive into this with you guys today. This is one of the most requested topics of conversation, whether it's with people in my TikTok comments or my DMs or actual programs. This is something that needs cleared up in the manifestation world, in terms of manifesting your baby, in terms of manifesting anything. And right now we are right smack dab in the middle of Baby Magic, my 2-week program. My ladies are killing it in there, and we were just having this conversation about this, and let me tell you, that group is fire. I am so excited to see what unfolds in the coming months for those ladies. They are killing it. If you are not inside Baby Magic, then you can get access to all of the audio trainings inside the Manifesting Motherhood Academy when the doors open again very soon. All right, so let's dive right in. In today's episode, I really want to answer the question, how do I shift out of negative thoughts? How do I stop the negative thoughts? How do I move out of them once I'm having them? So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be giving you the skinny on manifestation in relation to thought, because it's a conversation that needs to be had. Because what we have is a bunch of ladies who are out here afraid of thinking the wrong thing, afraid of if they have a negative thought, then that's what's going to manifest for them, afraid they're going to ruin their progress, their quote unquote manifestation progress. They're afraid they're moving through their manifestation practices with this vibration of fear. And they're just moving through this with such perfectionism, where it's like, I have to get it right. Every thought has to be right. Everything has to be perfect. Every reaction has to be correct. Every step that I take has to be the right step, or I'm going to end up this cycle without a baby. And here's the loving truth, mama. If you are treating manifestation like that, if you are looking at manifestation like that, if that's what you think manifestation is, then manifestation is no different than what you are currently doing to try to conceive, which is trying to be perfect and exhausting yourself and working really hard to earn your baby. Mic drop. And I don't know if you know this about me yet or not, but I am not in the business of perfectionism. I am not interested in getting you results in a way that absolutely exhausts you and depletes you. I'm not interested in getting you pregnant in a way where it feels like you are clawing your way up the mountain and you can never have a human emotion and you must be a robot, and that's the only way to do this. So let's make a big old shift around negative thinking here today. The thing about negative thinking is that it's not something to be afraid of. And this needs to be stated before we move forward on how to shift out of negative thinking, because right now here's what the cycle looks like. You're having a negative thought, and then you feel guilty for having the negative thought. So you have guilt on top of the negative thought, and then you feel all this shame and all this impatience to try to get out of the cycle of negative thinking, flailing around thinking, oh, I have to fix this, and you're feeling so bad for thinking that way. And what you are creating is an escapism vibration. You're creating a life you want to escape from. It's this very fight or flighty energy. And if we can take the fear out of negative thinking, then we can easily shift out of it, because it's no longer a big, scary monster. Because you having a negative thought or you having a negative reaction to something, a very human reaction to something, is not going to fuck up your quote unquote progress. So I want you to think of manifestation like a water bottle, a tall, beautiful glass water bottle. And I want you to picture it. I want you to see it in your head right now. And when you were like in the vibe, when you were connecting with your baby, you were doing all of the manifestation things, you were feeling into this, you are moving and grooving, you're feeling good, you're doing your daily rituals, you are connecting back everything, you are making the choice to rise through the uncomfortable situations and the previously triggering situations. Every time you choose to do that, every time you choose the new story, the new truth, every time you lean into that, every time you feel into the excitement of motherhood, every time that water bottle fills up a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more until it spills over the top, aka your manifestation avalanching in. So here's how I want you to think about negative thinking. Negative thinking does not remove water from the bottle. There is nothing that can siphon water out of the bottle. It doesn't take any water out of the bottle. It doesn't knock the bottle over. The bottle sits patiently and waits for you to pour into it again. That's the whole thing. So negative thinking is not something to be scared of from the lens of ruining your progress. Negative thinking is also not something to be scared of from the lens of, if I think something bad, then something bad will happen. If I think something negative, then something bad will happen. It's also not scary in that regard, because what I will tell you about manifestation and about humans in general is that you've got a million thoughts over the course of the day that most of them go completely unchecked. It is not your thoughts that manifest. It is not your fleeting thoughts, your fleeting feelings, your fleeting reactions. What manifests for you is not what you want. It's not even what you think or what you say. What manifests for you is what you believe to be true about the world and the way that it works for you. That is what manifests for you every time. Because you can have a grumpy day, right? And this is where I tell my clients all the time, is that you don't lose your baby privileges once baby gets here physically earthside. If you have a grumpy day, nobody comes and takes your baby away from you because you weren't high vibe. It's not required then, so it's not required now. This isn't something that's required to be in this state all the time. And so the reason why I choose to move out of negative thinking patterns is not because I have to be perfect. It's not because I have to think a certain way in order for my baby to come home. It's not because I'm afraid something negative will manifest and it will all be my fault. Because one of my core beliefs is that my baby comes home no matter what or whatever it is that I'm manifesting. I receive those things regardless of my mood. Because even in my shifting moods, my beliefs do not budge. My beliefs are unfuckwithable. My beliefs do not shift with my mood. And if you change the belief, and I give the example of a pregnancy announcement, if all of the sudden you cultivated and reprogrammed in this belief that for every pregnant woman you see, for every announcement that you saw, it meant that you were next. It meant that this is right here. And you really felt into the celebration energy of that. Your reaction to that trigger would change. Your reaction to that event would change. It's not that you have to brute force change your reaction and lie to yourself. It's that when we address this at the belief level, the meaning of the experience shifts. So it no longer causes the negative thought. So the reason why I choose to shift out of negative thinking patterns is because I prefer an experience that feels good. It's not perfectionism. It's not that I have to do something a certain way in order to receive an outcome. That's exactly the way you've been TTC so far. You've been trying so hard to make A plus B equals C. That's not what we're doing here. I choose to move out of negative thinking patterns because the experience feels better. Because I deserve to live a deliciously beautiful, abundant, free life. Because when my baby arrives home, or whatever it is that I'm manifesting, I don't want them to find me waiting. I want them to find me living. I want my baby to join me amidst a grand adventure, ready to step into the fun, ready to step into all the love, ready to step into the laughter and the joy, where I am so fulfilled and I'm ready to pour into this little one from an already overflowing cup because I am already complete. I am already whole. I am already certain. I have already cultivated this. And if I wake up in a piss poor mood and I have some negative thoughts, that belief does not change. That belief does not waver. That belief does not budge. And so I have nothing to be afraid of when it comes to negative thinking. However, I choose to shift out of the negative thinking patterns because that's the experience I prefer. I prefer joy. I prefer laughter. I prefer adventure. I prefer to be a happy mama. That's just what I prefer. So when it comes to moving out of negative thoughts or shifting out of negative thoughts, the way that I do that is very low pressure. And this is a process that we cover in depth inside the Manifesting Motherhood Academy for some of those big ones, right? That just feel like they won't budge. And inside the Academy, we're building this mama identity and building these unwavering beliefs. We are building the mama identity step by step, like moving up rungs of a ladder. And we are moving this like piece by piece together so that the changes are powerful and they're permanent. But what I will tell you for right now is that number one, my go-to is shifting up what you believe to be true, and the negative thoughts will decrease. That's my go-to. Step number two is when I'm noticing these negative thought patterns coming in, I'm creating space between me and them. So having practiced this for so long, what I'm now able to do is I'm able to recognize that I am not my thoughts. And if I'm anticipating something negative, or I'm finding myself really tied up about something that I'm nervous about, or a potential what if in the future, it's definitely a return to presence. It's a return back to the present moment. And the process is really very simple. It's like a gentle noticing, oh, I'm running down a thought spiral that I don't prefer, and it doesn't feel very good in my mind, body, and soul. So can I choose a better feeling thought? Am I willing to do that right now? Could I choose a better feeling? What feels better? I love sunflowers. Super duper. Keep going down that direction. I know this sounds simple. I know this sounds way too easy, but we make our brains far too complicated and we try to intellectualize our problems to death. And sometimes we need to realize that shifting your focus is just as easy as a choice. It's a choice to put your focus somewhere else rather than fighting the issue head on. And from a more neutral state, when we bring that car to a stop where your nervous system isn't in reactive mode, then and only then can you be open, is the door open to potential solutions coming in. A lot of the time, you don't want to shift your focus off of something that you're upset about or having negative thoughts about, because what you want is not to shift your focus, you want to solve the problem. And so when we create space around that, then the door swings open to solutions. So if something has just happened to me or is happening to me that needs processed and honored, then that is something I will do 1000%, because I don't need shit getting stuck in my energy system. I don't need anything getting stuck and turning into a story that I then carry with me like a giant ass chip on my shoulder moving forward into the future. So I will honor that. I will set a timer. I will journal it out. I will cry it out. I will set that shit on fire. I will fucking honor that. And then once I'm done, I will then choose to shift my focus. If it's a thought that I made up all by myself and I hurt my own damn feelings, such as, well, what if XYZ happens? Or what if this means this never happens for me? Then you can bet we are shifting out of that focus fast, because I prefer a joyful experience. And so I know this podcast episode has created a lot of freedom for you, because when you can take all of the gasoline out of your fear engine and you can say, oh, this is just a fucking thought my brain threw at me, let's pick a different one, then there's not all this pressure to get out of the negative thinking. There's not all this guilt for having the negative thinking. You're not associating the way you're thinking with a negative outcome, and all of the shame is piling up for continuing to think negatively. And these are all you're stuck thinking about all the ways that you're never enough. And manifestation is so fucking different from how you've been TTC up to this point. It really is life and baby making on easy mode. It really is getting to take all of the big scary fear, all of the big scary guilt, all of the big scary shame, all of the big scary perfectionism out of this process and getting the fuck out of your own way. in such an easy way. Getting the fuck out of the way of the space that stands between you and your baby. You're creating that space with this, right? And realizing that there is no space, there is no time, there is nothing that stands between you and your baby except for the limitations that you continue to argue for. And this is a journey into letting this be so easy, so gentle, full of so much love, prioritizing your joy, your excitement, because that's what you deserve as a human. That's what you desire as a human. And that is what you desire your motherhood experience to look like. And shifting your focus back to what you want as opposed to what you don't. But it all starts with your belief system that's in place. What you believe to be true about the world and the way that it works for you. You can do a ton of negative thought shifting. If your belief system is not serving you, if your belief system is not in alignment with what you want, then that is what will continue to manifest for you. And you can do all the negative thought shifting you want. You're going to feel like you're lying to yourself. And so that's why inside the Manifesting Motherhood Academy, our focus is on that 5-step mama identity framework. That's what we work through together because we are building that certainty, as certain as you know your height or your eye color, like you know motherhood is meant for you. So much so to the point where you don't really have to keep asking for it. You know it's coming and you don't even have to pay attention to it all that much. You know that you show up, you do your part, the physical part to get pregnant, and you live your life and you expand out in ways that feel so authentic and good to you. Your life is full. You live it fully. You're full of laughter and joy and memories and traditions. And baby arrives right in the middle of all the fucking fun, not in the middle of heartbreak and heartache. Baby comes to the rescue to save you and piece you back together. In the middle of all the fun and fulfillment. This is why I always say, if you want to keep making a baby the hard way, don't fucking hire me. I'm not interested in doing things the hard way. I'm interested in easy mode. I'm interested in gentle, in love, in expansion and joy, because that's what babies are made of. And that is the kind of motherhood experience I want to have with my children every single day as they grow under my care and under my love. So mama, I love you so much. Your negative thinking isn't as scary as you think. If you are interested in joining the Manifesting Motherhood Academy, send me a DM and we will get you on the wait list for that. Doors are opening for that soon. If you want to build your mama identity, if you want baby to show up amidst all the fun, and you want these changes to be powerful, fast, and permanent, if you want to learn how to put life and baby making on easy mode. All right. I love you so much. This episode, I know it has really shifted something for some of you who are ready to hear it, and I cannot wait to see you in the next episode. Love you all. Today's going to be a beautiful day. I'll see you soon. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. If you absolutely loved what you heard today, if it created a shift for you or gave you permission to look at your journey to motherhood in a new way, if it made you feel lighter, anything like that, be sure to leave me a review on iTunes so that I can keep the good stuff flowing your way, mama. And if you don't already follow me on social media, come grab the extra manifesty vibes over on TikTok, where you'll find me as @manifestingmotherhood, or visiting my website at ohhimama.com. I love you so big, mama, and cannot wait to connect with you in the next episode. In the meantime, go out there and say yes to that life that baby cannot wait to come home to.